Yeah, it
I fell
does.
asleep in my car in a McDonald's parking lot a few weeks ago. And I woke up and there was a fire truck and 3 cop cars surrounding me. Somebody called and said that they thought that I had like OD'd on something.
Alrighty. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the very first episode of the LPLive Podcast, your place for everything Linkin Park and Linkin Park related. Literally everything. We're going to get into some detail on this. We have our host, me. My name's Dylan, Rogue Soul. And we have my friend Andrew Mariolis. I hope I said that right. Probably should have
That's
asked.
right.
Alright.
Serial Drew.
And we have some guests today. We got Nick Vitaco, Glass Castles himself.
Howdy.
Mr. Anthony Staten, A-Stat is here. And
Yo.
finally, we got Ben Newberry, Mr. Ben himself.
What's
All
up?
from like, we're in different corners of the world right now, ready to discuss some Linkin Park. What's on the agenda today, boys? We got, well, I guess first up, the most pertinent thing, Papercuts. Coming out April, I don't even know what, coming out April something.
12th. It's my
12th?
birthday, I remember.
Oh, word.
Okay, now is it your birthday or is it like a mark minutes to midnight? It's your birthday.
It's my birthday.
It's like close enough. So yeah, Papercuts just got announced not long ago. We got a new single, Friendly Fire. First song.
Already out as well.
Yeah, already out. We'll talk about that a little bit, but let's get into Papercuts a little bit. I guess first and foremost, the first thing we've discussed the most, the track list. Some surprising omissions from this, shall we say?
For sure.
We're missing some signature tracks from this.
Like Final Masquerade Acoustic.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
real roller coaster for me personally.
I think the most
There is no
surprising.
representation of my favorite album. Womp, womp.
Let's pour one out for the hunting party, guys. Like,
I just got it on
Not a
vinyl.
single-
I just bought it just to celebrate in honor
did.
of
Oh god, that wasn't happening.
it wasn't empty. In honor of them not putting it on there. I just bought it on vinyl.
as you
We
should.
can start with
due
like
respect.
what's in there actually. Like it's meant to be like a greatest singles compilation of the band. So there's definitely some songs like everyone knows, pretty much everything everyone knows, including mostly their top like 18 Spotify most streamed songs.
It's like it's top 16 because they swapped 2 of them out for Lost and Waiting for the End, right?
They did.
They swapped what Heavy
I think it-
and
Given Up and Heavy are out. I'm still surprised Given Up is out.
I'm surprised Heavy's out.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm surprised they went with. I guess I underestimated the impact of One More Light, like the song. I didn't realize like how certified it was.
That song was huge after they made it a single and everything. It's a big audio on TikTok too.
I just saw it on a Instagram reel.
Yeah.
I sent it to the chat. I was like, what the?
That's how you know it's getting popular. It's on Reels. It's gonna be on Shorts
Yeah, I
soon.
guess I made the right choice with that one. Waiting for the End is one that I'm not. It's one of my favorite songs, so I'm not upset about it being there. And I think it had to be
deserved.
there, to be honest.
I'm not surprised that it's there. I'm surprised that it wasn't in the top 18 anyway. I'm surprised that it had to
That's-
be
yeah.
forced into the list.
That's agreeable because that is probably one of the most like technically masterful songs in their catalog. That whole album itself, honestly.
And what was the other one? Was Lost the other one that wasn't in the
Yeah.
top whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. That one just hasn't been out long enough.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's already
Lost
almost
does
there.
make sense being there.
The fact it was ahead of Waiting for the End after only being out for like a year,
Mhm.
less than a year, I think at this point is pretty. I think it's gonna hit there eventually, so that's a good addition to
It
it.
was like the #1 like rock song last year, right? Something like that. It was like it was
Yeah.
crazy.
On radio play, if I'm not mistaken.
I still hear it on the radio at least once a day, either going to or from work.
Octane does like a Big Uns countdown every week, and I'm pretty sure Lost was #1 for like multiple weeks.
Yeah.
The
on
thing
there.
is, they with the 20 tracks limitation they went with, they had to be very picky. Everything minutes to midnight onwards, they basically put most stuff from Hybrid Theory till minutes to midnight, and everything after that's one track from here, one track from there.
Zero
What do you
track
think
song.
about that?
It's interesting that they did that, but still didn't include anything from the hunting party. That they were
Yeah.
like, we can pick. Okay, this is the Thousand Suns pick. We got a couple Living Things picks in there, but Hunting Party, we can. Who cares? We can pass on that one.
The two Living Things picks, I think, are Lost in the Echo not being there is kind of surprising, but Burn It Down and Castle of Glass
Yeah.
were both huge. Castle of Glass was surprisingly so, but
Agreed.
like it made those. I think two from Living Things makes sense. Only one from A Thousand Suns is surprising.
I think Castle of Glass got a big boost from being in Medal of Honor.
Yeah, I mean it's like their
Yeah.
I think it's like their third or fourth most viewed video on YouTube or something like that. It's crazy how big it's like right next to. I mean, it's not right next to. It's like 1 billion views below in the end, but it's like right next to it.
I was gonna say
If you go by popular,
that music video really boosted that song like a lot. I noticed that.
The version.
What
in the
about
music video also.
that intro.
Shadow of the Day didn't make it, did it?
That's the biggest surprise in my
Shadow of the,
opinion.
I was gonna say Shadow of the Day is like the one song I hear the most out in the wild.
And
hearing
it
new
charted
versions.
really high too.
Yeah.
It charted like top 15 or
It-
something when it came out.
It did better than Leave Out All the Rest. And Leave Out All the Rest is on there.
It also looks like they went by like streaming numbers mostly. Like a lot of these songs
Yep.
came out before streaming
Mhm.
was really a thing. So it's hard to
Right.
like say without including those like pre-streaming numbers, like
If we would,
which are definitively the most popular.
if we tried to count pre-streaming numbers, it would be just Hybrid Theory and Meteora. That would be the
Yeah,
entire
that's
track
true.
listing.
Even like
Yeah.
the non-singles.
It would be like they would maybe not include Session and Cure for the Itch, and they would be What I've Done and New Divide instead. But otherwise it would just be those two. It would just be those two albums.
So some people would be like, yeah, this checks out.
Some
for
people would
greatest
agree
hits.
with that. I think that's the right decision.
Yeah.
I
Shadow
mean,
of the
it
Day.
would, but that's why I think it's a greatest singles thing.
Yeah, these
Otherwise-
songs kind of prevailed
I agree.
through the streaming era.
A nice surprise
They
for me
also-
was the inclusion of Number Encore. I didn't expect something from Collision Course, but I'm very happy they did include that one.
I'm surprised they included that and not like A Light That Never Comes.
Well, they don't want to give any credit to Recharged.
But I guess like a large part of this like wasn't necessarily like including every part of their discography. With the Hunting Party, you can kind of say like the heaviness is covered by like some of the earlier songs in a different way, obviously. But like including Waiting for the End, they get like that bit of like weird like pop reggae electronic rock. Lost is like in the vein of their older stuff, but still has like a little poppierness to it.
Well, it's got.
All the songs post, yeah, as you go.
Oh, I was gonna say like yeah, it makes because the Living Things guy mixed it, so it makes a lot of sense that it's like a kind of a mix of the
Yeah,
like it's the true mix of like the Meteora style with the like Living Things attitude of let's take
with,
that
like,
sound
with
and
like the
update it.
present day Linkin
Yeah.
Park.
Like what would it sound like in 2012?
I think when you look at like how deep their discography goes, they're kind of in a weird spot where if they made this a double album, it's like they'd have 1.5-ish discs of singles to really be worth putting on there. Like they don't quite have a deep enough discography to really justify making it a double album, but they've got enough stuff that they have to leave some stuff off too.
Yeah,
See, when they said that like they were handpicking the songs, what I expected it to be was like it would be like the obvious singles, and then there would be like 5 or 6, 7, whatever songs that are just like, here are some deep cuts that we really like. Like here's When They Come For Me, here's A Place For My Head, here's No More Sorrow, Little Things Give You Away, stuff like something like that, just to like kind of separate it from other greatest hits albums a little bit.
I think no matter what the track list was, there have to be like songs, huge songs that are out.
I know. I'm not
Like-
saying don't put the big songs. I'm saying that I expected there to be a little like, I don't want to say a little more consideration, but like, I expected like, when I look at that track listing, I think that the label could have just done that. The band didn't have to be involved in this at all. But like, if the track list didn't come out and had been like, oh, here's, I don't know, here's Until It Breaks, here's Powerless, whatever, I'd be like, okay, so the band, was really involved and really had a lot of like thought about what songs should be on here.
I
Brad
think
would have
Waiting.
put Lies Breathe on
I
there
mean-
4 times.
Brad
Yeah.
fought for that, I'm sure of it.
I'm pretty sure he was probably like, well, okay, fine, I'll let you do a Hunting Party track if you let me put Lies, Greed, Misery
And
on there.
Phoenix was like, no.
They're like,
I'm
"We
fine
cannot
with the Hunting
compromise
Party."
there. That's why they won't play a show, because he wants to play Lies, Greed, Misery only, like 22 times.
Mike is like, I'm not putting that in the set. I'm not putting that in my own personal solo set. And Brad's like, I'm not going on tour with you then. I'm sorry.
You're getting like an intro of that Max, Brad.
I'll put it as an
Getting a
as a
reference.
background part in my solo medley. All right.
MS Rap, Lies, Greed, Misery.
Oh my, that'd be the until it's gone. Lies Green Misery rap intro. That's like
Unstuck.
Anthony's
Oh
nightmare.
my god.
Like this is like only 2 favorite songs back to back.
Brad plays like this new guitar thing, but he turns his back to the whole crowd every time. So it's like it's not even at least like he likes this. Like he'll have to keep listening to that same shitty piece of music over and over again until he can figure it out.
And Mike just does the demo
Because
scat
Brad
version.
refuses.
Not
even words. He does it,
I
and we're
like
like,
that more than the actual song.
It's funnier at least.
Anyway, back to Papercuts. Little sidetrack there.
Yeah.
Just a dunk on Lies, Greed, Misery, to be
Yeah.
honest.
It's worth it.
Should we
It-
just
it's-
go to the track 14 whole QWERTY situation yet?
We could talk. Yeah, we should talk about that. I was gonna say just quickly that, like we were saying about like how involved the band is with this release. It does kind of feel like, to a degree, I can see why they picked certain songs to be like, this is who we are as a band. Like we weren't one sound, and these kind of songs define that principle for us. Versus like, there's parts where like with the vinyls, like it just doesn't feel very like that part feels like a lot of this feels like it's a big label thing.
I mean, I think it is a big label thing to some extent because you can see the band is not as involved as with the anniversary releases. I just think they still had a strong say in what comes out eventually. They for sure picked the 2 new tracks of the release, and I think they had a say on what they cut or what they put in the final track list.
Well, Brad
But like,
specifically
I
had a
think
say.
Brad had a say indeed.
Yeah, according to
I
Mike
just
on
think
Discord.
they took popularity on streams as a main criteria.
Yeah, that's definitely fair.
My main point is I just wanted more. I wanted it to be longer. I thought there could be more songs on it, and that they left a lot of
Yeah.
songs kind of out that should have been in. Like, I don't think anything that they included shouldn't have been included. But I also think that there
Yeah.
are songs that I think are surprising for them to not include. And I think there was room to
Yeah.
include them.
Yeah, I guess like A-Stat said, I guess it's just a weird situation of like there's enough but not enough at the same time without like digging in to like the non-singles.
They
I
didn't,
also kind of feel like there will be another greatest hits at some point, like a part 2 of this.
I was gonna say they needed to pull a Fall Out Boy and like and somehow know ahead of time they needed to release the greatest hits in like 2009 with like Hybrid Theory, Meteor, Minutes to Midnight, and then they could do one now with Living Things, like 5,000 Suns, Living Things,
Yeah.
Hunting Party One for
That's
Life.
kind of a lot what I think about is like how Fall Out Boy handled it.
Yeah.
Like they distinctly have like 2 kind of eras
Mm.
of their band.
And I would argue Linkin
and
Park
they
also does,
picked a good time.
but they just didn't.
Oh yeah.
They just didn't
They
do
might
that.
have a third era coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If this whole first half was or the first like 2000 to 2017, what they consider like the first half, then
Yeah.
hopefully there's a second half
Yeah.
coming. But that's all.
They keep saying
Theory.
so far.
You know,
I'm just saying.
you know what else we theorized a lot about? Track
Track 14.
14.
Big mystery.
It's probably the most like neutral reaction to a Linkin Park thing I've ever
Yeah.
seen. Because it's like you can't really be angry at it, but it's also like it's QWERTY. Track 14 is QWERTY, a song from 2006.
It's
Pretty
been
much if
out
you
18 years.
yeah, it's
for
been out 18
2
years.
versions.
Two
And they're releasing
versions,
the worst
one
one.
live version that everyone likes.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're releasing the worst version. I feel like everyone who's like semi-familiar with this band, like I don't know, you got to be like 2 or 3 degrees of like deep into this band to know QWERTY.
Yeah.
Like as far as like non-album songs go, I feel like QWERTY is one of those that like people kind of know.
Yeah.
Maybe less
Yeah.
than No Roads Left, but
I thought it was gonna be No Roads
The
Left.
way depending on when you were into the band, I think QWERTY might be the biggest non-album song, just because when it got played in Japan in 2006, like it blew up, like it was a huge thing.
QWERTY is a dope track. I think fans all love it, and listeners gonna also really gonna discover it now also really gonna enjoy it. I just think the whole track 14 tease was a bit too much for a track that's already out for so long.
Yeah.
That's it. Like the
Mhm.
track is really good, and we all gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, the payoff
Yeah.
wasn't worth the build up and the mystery and everything.
The
Exactly.
big payoff is that QWERTY will be on streaming and digital now.
But for
Yeah.
me, I have a local
Yeah.
file on Spotify. It's been on streaming for 6 years, 7 years, so it's kind of
In terms of unless there's something I'm missing, it's probably their most popular song that wasn't already on streaming.
again. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense to release it. I'm saying that it's like if you are like Dylan said, if you're already like into this band and you're already kind of like invested enough to really care about this kind of release, you probably know QWERTY.
I think the big issue isn't so much like the song, it's the expectation they put up by teasing it so
Hmm.
hard. If they did this with Friendly Fire, it would have made a lot more
Mhm.
sense, in my
And
opinion. 'cause,
they just
we,
announced
we
Friendly Fire.
all we have exactly all we have of that song is that one clip of Mike talking about it on Twitch, and that picture of Brad in front of the songboard, and that's what they used. Versus
Actually,
QWERTY,
think
like there's pro shots. There's like several, like they played it multiple times over multiple years.
Even just like a picture of them playing in like Japan 2006, I think would have been fine. Like if they don't
for
want to announce
sure.
that it's QWERTY, at least like let the fans know that they know QWERTY, that it's going to be QWERTY. Don't get their hopes up that because then it's still a surprise for non-hardcore fans. They'll be like, "What the? I don't know what this part is," but everyone else will be like, "Oh yeah, that's the shirt Chester wore in Osaka 2006. They're going to release QWERTY."
I
Yeah,
think
I
it's a
know.
good pick of a
Yeah, no, for-
song. As a dynamic with Friendly Fire, if you wanna show like the band over the years, like you put out Friendly Fire with something from their most recent album, an outtake that they always meant to release in some form, and then you put out QWERTY that's a lot heavier, older, but something like a fan favorite, like we've been saying all this time. I think it's a good combination to show like what this compilation is about.
I find it interesting. So, like, they just added Friendly Fire on Octane, which is kind of funny to me because it makes sense because it's Linkin Park, but that is not an Octane song. Like, Sirius XM Octane's all like new hard rock, metal, almost metalcore, in some extents. But like QWERTY,
Imagine Dragons.
that song will go huge on Octane. So like as soon as that comes out, I feel like they're just gonna drop
Fire.
Friendly Fire from there because it doesn't really fit on Octane at all. Like I think the only reason it's there is because it's Linkin Park.
I often think like radio and any like specific genre kind of thing always doesn't know what to do with Linkin Park.
Mhm.
They kind of can't accept the fact that like over the course of like 10 years they completely changed sounds multiple times. So they're like, "Oh yeah, I guess we can still play them on hard rock." But yeah, I agree like Friendly Fire is definitely a better lead single just because it's more accessible. Definitely fits more with people's like pop taste nowadays. But QWERTY, yeah, definitely like for fans, people will be really excited for it.
I mean, the reception I've seen to Friendly Fire outside of the fan base has been really positive and really good. Like
I really like it.
yeah, I really
the
like
more
it
I
too.
listen to it, the more I like it.
Yeah.
Me too.
I think the
A
video
lot
helped
of
a lot
people,
for me liking it. I didn't love it until the video.
Yeah, it added a nice special emotional touch.
a lot of people have actually that I've seen or I saw like a few reviews of it on YouTube said that for them it's like actually like a missing piece for One More Light. Like when that song, it's like a good, like they said if this was on the album, it actually would have put it higher on like what they enjoyed. Like they said that it's a good bridge, like it's poppy, but there's like the acoustic guitar element in that song is really
It's
good.
kind
I
of
love
it
it.
is kind of like an in between of like Sorry for Now and Talking to
I was
Myself.
gonna say it reminds me of talking to myself.
It has a
I
little.
think
bit of
most
that.
people would like take it over their least favorite OML song.
Oh,
I think
100%.
like in general people like it.
That was a short album. It easily could have just been
Mm.
on
11
there,
songs.
not
True.
in place of something else. I do wonder why they didn't. I guess we don't know what it sounded like in 2017 versus what, because they did say they went back into the studio a little bit and like
I
fixed
think
some
it's
or added
probably
some
more
things.
like Twix because Mike has also said it was a finished and mixed song back in the day. So I think they probably
Yeah.
just tweaked it a little bit for this release.
Yeah, the fact that they have like footage of Chester recording this song is very interesting to me.
I was super surprised too.
I'm not. Mark Fiore's got everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's at a certain point, I just assumed that he's probably like they have a camera in the studio 24/7 recording everything. Like it's
Mark
Yeah.
has video of everything, and he has like all the old demos too.
I'm convinced that Mike just sends him little beats that he makes just so that he can use them in LPTV stuff.
Hey, Mark,
It's
here's a
called-
1-to-1 copy of my hard drive.
That's how all the
Go
stuff
nuts.
leaked. Is Mark lost the hard drive.
we do have that thread on LPLive from a long time ago that like we listed all the unknowns that they played in LPTVs. I wonder, did we ever go back and like try to?
I think that was a
if
Skippy's
we
project, so
filled
the
in
answer is
anything.
no.
Yeah, we gave up. Skippy, we'll save that story for another day.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole
That's a whole
LP
episode
Live
into itself.
backstory episode. But yeah, Friendly Fire. I mean, that would have been a good live song too.
Oh yeah.
I
Mhm.
think it can be said that like one criticism of it is that like it could kind of be by any other band.
Yeah.
Like it could, if you told me that was a 30 Seconds to Mars song or like
I saw
don't
Imagine
even
Dragons
know.
thrown around a
Like
lot. Saw that name.
yeah, even Imagine
Yeah.
Dragons. I kind of wouldn't like Imagine Dragons featuring Chester. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's cool
But
to
I
note
think
this is the first song that gets a physical release since Heavy. The
Yeah.
first single of OML.
It's funny how much like they do care and they don't about this. Like friendly, like they're giving Friendly Fire like a nice release. You know what I mean? Like Friendly Fire, they're given a nice like physical release. They're giving it its moment in the sun as a single. Like everyone, the news is talking about it. But at the same time, it's like they haven't even updated parts of their website to be like, hey, this is coming out.
I mean, Already Over is still the first song, and this is Linkin Park. So
This is it's a command,
Yeah.
dude. Like this is
Already
Linkin
Over is a
Park,
Linkin Park song. It has the DNA in there.
whether or not you like it.
I wonder
He's
if
trying
is
to
one.
will it into it.
I wonder if Mike or if the band just really wanted to release Friendly Fire, and the label was like, "You can if we can do a greatest hits." I wonder if that was the trade off.
Hmm.
Do you think they'll keep doing these 20-year anniversaries all the way up till like what 2030?
I wonder if I don't think Mike thinks they're gonna make it to One More Light, and that's why he's fine with releasing Friendly Fire now.
That being said, I feel like there's a lot more from those album sessions.
Oh yeah, I don't
they
think that they're
probably
not gonna
like
get there
enough.
because of content. I think they're gonna get there because people don't care.
Oh yeah,
I-
because they don't want to wait that long.
Yeah, like I honestly, if they had done Living Things 10 in 2022, they could have just done all of them up to 2030 for 1,000 Suns 20, and then been like, there we go, we're good. There's the
I
That's
think we're gonna get those box sets until 1,000 Suns.
oh yeah, they're
At
definitely
least-
gonna
I
go
think
to 1,000
yeah,
Suns.
1,000 Suns they'll definitely cook with.
After
Even
that,
Living Things, I feel like they could.
I-
'Cause, like Burn It Down.
they could cook with all of their albums, I'm sure. I think it's just a matter
Oh,
of
yeah.
do they think that
They're gonna
it's
skip
worth
the
it?
hunting part.
They just skip it entirely. They were actually repressed the Mall soundtrack on vinyl.
I would get It Goes Through on vinyl.
Minutes to Midnight isn't until a couple years, so I really hope
Definitely,
Mike
yeah.
wants to do a Fort Minor one. That'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
They did
That
just
would be
do
cool.
the Zoetrope release for the deluxe edition release, didn't they? So it
Yeah.
makes me wonder, like, why then and not like next year, like when it's actually gonna be the anniversary.
Maybe he'll release that
Speaking
first.
of, we also have a vinyl like that for this release, which looks pretty cool. Among like what 7, 8 other versions, this one
Yeah.
stands out
and
Two.
none
That's
of
the
them,
one I
to
ordered.
most of us, I think.
and none of the variants are neon green. None of them match the color
Yeah.
scheme of the
That's
entire
the- that's
project.
the thing that gets me. It's not what the amount of vinyls that are there, because I don't care. Like I see every other band doing
Yeah,
it now.
I just won't get them,
You know what I
that's fine.
mean? Like it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I'm not gonna. There's some people. The people who are gonna buy. Oh, I was thinking about this the Rolling Stones. They haven't. They have a new album. I don't know if it's an old album or a new album. They have an album they're releasing that has a vinyl variant for every like Major League Baseball team in the United States.
God, imagine being a
And I'm like,
collector.
yeah, that's what I'm
It's like
saying.
a
Like,
mortgage on your
imagine being
house.
the dude who's like, I have to buy like 50 of this vinyl.
I
that
have to.
for like, I guarantee he does not care about all. He probably cares max about 3 of those teams,
That's
depending
being
on who it is.
generous.
There's no way he gives a shit about like all 50 of those.
That's crazy.
And like, but he's a Rolling Stones fan. He's like, I'm the collector. I got to do this. Like, it could be worse. You know what I mean? Like, my thing is that there's no green vibe
That's what
variant.
I'm saying.
And why?
And
clo-
it's so weird.
The closest
funny.
one is that Spotify one that's like puke yellow. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah, exactly. It's gross.
it's so
I got
weird.
the Zoetrope.
There's
I'm
the,
actually considering buying the hoodie
Yeah, the hoodie looks nice actually. I'm not
I
gonna
haven't really
lie.
looked at any of the
Indeed.
like any of the actual
because
merch.
I
I've
don't.
just
I
seen the
actually I
bands.
realized I don't have a Linkin Park hoodie, and I'm a big hoodie guy. I need to.
What
get
do you
on that.
think of the Minutes to Midnight logo chosen for the artwork?
I think it looks awesome. I think it's a cool choice because I feel like it was their kind of it was a different sort of peak of popularity from Hybrid Theory when they came back with What I've Done, and I think a lot of people, when you tell people Linkin Park, they kind of think of that
I think
era
that logo.
of them,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably their most iconic logo.
and
All
I
the
kind of
other-
like.
All the other album cycle logos are just redesigns of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like the Hunting Party one with just the LP and no circle. or
Yeah, I
anything.
like it looking like it's kind of like in a dream. Like, it reminds me of the Catalyst lyrics, like "Lift me up, let me go." It kind of
Shocking.
looks like
And yet.
they're doing. Yeah, it's not on the little. Not that they wouldn't draw
Yeah.
that connection since it's not on the album, but
Yeah. They forgot about
I
it.
like the vibe of it. I think the green's kind of gross. Interesting choice.
There's one thing that annoys me about the artwork. So if you look at the top of the artwork, I know it's supposed to be lens flare, but that one little like green dot that looks like it's coming off the border,
Oh,
it looks
no.
like somebody was just drawing a square around it and like missed.
Like, they're going like, okay, be careful. Oh shit!
I don't.
Somebody mouse slipped in MS Paint.
I'm looking at you, Frank Maddox, whatever your name is.
Something about the art for this reminds me of like Goosebumps. I don't know what it is. Like I think it might be the color scheme. I think it might be like the reflection thing. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. Something reminds me of Goosebumps, and it's made me like it a lot more. Just like
I
associating it
like
with
I
Goosebumps.
like the artwork.
What's
It's
the
not
name of the little green
particularly
guy from
special.
Ghostbusters?
The green guy from Ghostbusters. Oh,
Okay.
Ghostbusters. I still thinking Goosebumps. I was like, what green guy are you talking about?
No, that this is showing my age here, but I'm just thinking of like the old the green Ghostbusters Slimer High C flavor that they don't make anymore.
God,
Oh my
that's-
God.
this sounds vile.
That's the color. I'm so
Oh,
old.
look.
Nick had to
Ben
take a sip
Ben
of
bought
water.
the
to get
the,
out.
I
the
had to
headphones
wash
from the
that
merch.
down. That was too much, man.
That's what I'm saying. It just so happens my headset matches the artwork.
Timing.
Man, he's been prepared for this. They actually gave Ben advance notice. Is that why you changed your color to
Make sure
green?
you got your headphones on.
Is that why you changed your lights to green?
That's what. Yeah, I did that.
Oh,
I was like, I gotta be in the green setting.
hey, I gotta be in the green setting.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Now we're better than what the Catalyst. Apparently, we're in green. Let's see,
Oh.
what else have we written?
By
on
the
this
way,
doc?
something cool that came along with this was in the end's diamond certification.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
I also wonder how close Numb is, because they usually go toe to toe.
There's probably gonna be in the next like 5-10 years. There's gonna be a couple of those. What's up after like obviously Numb's gonna hit there.
And what I've done, probably.
what I've
Let's see.
done.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say
what I've done. New Divide's probably close-ish.
I'd make a case for Burn It Down. I feel like that one's enough of
Yeah.
a pop rock song.
See, what I've done came back. Like, there was a TikTok trend not too long ago where everybody was using the like end of Transformers, like,
Yeah.
If Michael
Thing.
Bay directed X, whatever.
Directed
trend.
by Michael.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Even dudes, I had a crazy. I was working. I was at work, and I was just playing "Lying from You" on the speaker just to get by the day.
Yeah.
And this girl I work with, she came up to me. She was like, "Wait, I know this song," and she pulls out TikTok,
audio.
and she's playing a sped up version of "Lying from You." I was like, "Oh my god, what?" I'm glad these songs find new ways to be relevant.
I mean, they're
to
always
be
gonna be
honest.
memes, AMVs, and now TikTok audio. You know, just whatever people are doing.
Yeah, exactly. See what
And it's
else?
honestly wild to see like they're continuing to get like new fans.
Yeah.
Like it seems like they wouldn't, like, not that they wouldn't, but just them being around so long, and yet because of like TikTok and stuff and people using them, it's wild to see like you have new people coming in and being like, whoa.
Yeah, they're almost like self-sustaining at this point. Like they're not active
Yeah,
anymore,
exactly.
really, but like they're like their music is so big that like it propels itself into like new people's feeds
Mhm.
and new people's like algorithms or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
enough people are using in
They're
the
always
end
like,
that like
yeah,
someone will hear
exactly.
it.
In the end is a song that'll like never disappear.
It's like they're part of pop culture.
Mhm.
I think at least those two songs, like, it's very hard to find someone who hasn't heard of them, like never heard the song.
Yeah, I remember I used to say all the time back in back when 30 Seconds to Mars was touring with them. I had to make this argument a lot that Linkin Park is less popular than In the End and Numb are. Though like the band itself, its name does not carry the same weight that their songs do. Like they exist beyond them almost.
The other big pop culture one that always gets referenced is Remember the Name, weirdly
Yeah.
enough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
That-
remember that.
It's a major
really
sports
Like
song.
Reddit thread all the time.
Remember the Name is used in like sports anthems all the time, or like pep rallies.
Yeah.
Like I was in high school and that when they were using Remember the Name in pep rallies, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then people were like, who is this? I know this
Exactly,
song, but who is it? I'm like, oh, that one guy from Linkin Park. Oh, okay.
Yeah. My friend who
But,
played basketball played it before every game. Like that was his pump up song.
And back
There
like
is-
you those that React, y'all remember the Teens React? If you go that Mike did a while back, I mean that shows that because like when In the End came on, a lot of people would be like, oh, I know this song. So-
Well, there is like one quote that has stuck with me from an interview I did for LPLive a couple years ago, the one with TJ DeMonte. He said like Linkin Park is the last like huge rock band because who's bigger than them since them?
Now it's all pop stars and like
That's it. I
Single
think
people.
that has stuck with me because actually, who is?
there's I guess
No
you
one
could make
really.
It's like
arguments
Pearl
like
Jam,
the
Foo
Killers.
Fighters.
Yeah, but even
Dragons is really big with a lot of younger people.
Imagine Dragons, yeah.
I was gonna say like Coldplay, but are we counting them as a rock band still or?
Coldplay counts.
I don't really
guess.
think people even think of Imagine Dragons so much as a band, even though they are.
Yeah.
They are just kind of an artist in my mind. I don't think of them as a rock band.
Mhm.
Yeah, even in terms of just the idea of a band now, like Linkin Park's one of the last couple of those that really stood the test of time.
I mean, even 30 Seconds to Mars, I mean, like, is that a band now? I mean, it is, but
They used to be.
yeah. But not like Linkin Park. I don't think you can find a band that's came from like new metal, especially that has been able to stay like relevant.
Oh,
and sure,
you say that, but Deftones is massive right now.
I never think of Deftones as a
like-
new metal band, even though they totally are a new metal band.
Yeah, I think they are.
Like I just
At least it's the same shit as Linkin Park. I think that like they've moved out of it.
I associate them most with
Yeah,
like Diamond
Deftones
Eyes,
is like
Saturday Night
immense
Wrist,
on
that kind of those
TikTok.
albums.
They have like they're about to hit 11 million listeners on
Yeah.
Spotify.
there's very few bands that like transition or go across multiple like people's fan bases.
Yeah,
If you have
But even-
a popular band in the scene, like I don't know, Korn or Papa Roach or whatever, but they're not gonna be known at all to people that listen to Hits One Radio.
Yeah.
Really, like
There are a lot of bands that rock radio now that you can definitely hear the Linkin Park influence coming in, like
oh yeah, man.
Bad Omens, and I mean, say what you will about Ronnie Radke, but Falling in Reverse.
I feel like most rock music that's popular now wouldn't exist without Linkin Park.
Mm-mm.
Is what I think
Mhm.
a lot.
Motionless in White.
Yeah.
It's a big
I
one.
wasn't even going
Yep.
back like a couple years. Like Bring Me the Horizon very clearly had their shift in sound
Even
is
still,
totally
Bring Me
Linkin
the
Park.
Horizon.
Oh,
I know. I'm
yeah.
saying like once
Like,
they
Bring Me the
started going
Horizon-
from deathcore to like their
Oh,
new
yeah.
sound, like that's totally Linkin Park inspired.
They wouldn't have had the balls to do that if Linkin
Yeah.
Park did.
Mm-mm.
Linkin Park set the precedent for like how you can evolve as an artist and still be good, I think.
Oh, it's just
like, the
fine
new
to
day.
mix rock with whatever genre you want, as long as you do it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even so many rappers nowadays even do like like rock and metal songs. Like people's like tastes have finally like kind of bridged. They've always kind of defined that space of being genreless, like bouncing from thing to thing. And I think people like pop music is finally kind of catching up to that.
Yep.
Which is also why I think like a lot of their music still hits on the radio because everyone can be like, oh shit, they're doing this too now. And people who haven't heard them before are coming around in this new era of pop music too.
And it's like with each album, like if you come across something, like if you come across Guilty All the Same and you're a pop guy, you're like, I don't care about this, I don't like it. Next album, it's heavy. Oh, I this song is totally up my alley. So it's like every album is almost like a second chance for them to like introduce themselves to a new listener.
There's something for everyone in this band.
What's like the band would say is like they strive a different band with every album. They want to reinvent themselves every album. I mean, from ashes to new, and I see a lot of people, or a lot of like ads on TikTok. Like from ashes to new does this. It'll literally be like, "Are you a fan of Linkin Park and so? Then check out our band."
I get it. They do sound like what Hybrid Theory or Metera would sound like if it was produced today. I think they are like the closest.
Oh yeah,
to that
from ashes
sound
to
in
new for
today's
sure.
music. And they're pretty good.
Yeah, they are. No, I like them. They literally are to me like new age, like Hybrid Theory. There's a band called Danger Kids that
Oh my
literally
God.
shouted them out in their song.
Bro, I miss Danger Kids.
Don't bring up Danger
Same.
Kids to me. It's a sore spot. I miss them so
Okay.
much. Their
Same.
last album was so
Bro.
good, and they disappeared.
It was.
They disappeared off the face. They posted something kind of recently.
They were
so
like the one guy was Twitch streaming for a while.
Mhm.
that was a band. That was a band with potential, man.
That
Light Escapes.
they were like the
Ugh.
new Linkin Park.
They literally
They
were.
were the ones who did it like just right. And like
Mhm.
that was like Living Things era.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, these guys know what they're doing.
Is your favorite Linkin Park song in the compilation?
Yes. Castle of Glass and One More Light both made the cut, so I'm good.
2 out of 3 for me.
I have such a
Mm.
hard time picking a favorite anything, but yeah, like most of the ones that I would have up there are there.
My top
I'll-
3 are Leave Out All the Rest, Sorry for Now, and Waiting for the End.
One of mine are Waiting for the End. Sad about From the Inside, but it's fine.
I didn't expect it to be on there, but Burning in the Skies is one of my favorites.
That's number 3 for me. That's like right there.
Mine's
I also
Fame.
agree with
Always
Mike
there.
that Keys to the Kingdom's one of their most underrated songs.
That shit it comes on every so often on my shuffle. I'm like, wow. Forgot how like crazy the end of this.
The last third of that song is insane. It's so good. It's worth listening to the first like 2/3 just to get to the bridge and the outro.
That would have gone so crazy live.
Chester would have destroyed his
Like,
voice. Are
even
you
if-
kidding me? That tour would have lasted like 2
Even
days.
I see like if they did it like as like one of the first songs in the set, I think he could have come out hitting with that.
Just open the show with it. Just him screaming a cappella, nothing
That's
else.
what I'm saying. Like, just forget about Giving Up. You don't have to do that one later. Make the next song a Mike Shinoda song.
Yeah, Chester just walked. Mike's
Chilling.
it's Keys to the Kingdom, Mike solo medley, Joe solo medley, Burn It Down
End of the
instrumental,
show.
Robot Boy instrumental.
We're good.
Just give him like a 20-minute
Open
break
up
after
with
the
Keys-
song.
Chester started coughing up blood halfway through Keys of the Kingdom, so they had to cut the set short.
They brought it into rehearsal, and Chester was like, "No, absolutely not. You can keep Runaway. You can keep Runaway in the set. I'm not doing Keys to the Kingdom."
Yeah, that's a crazy compromise, actually, if you think about it.
That's how
He
you knew.
hated that
That's how Mike
song.
knew he was serious.
It's like, wow, we can't do this to him.
And Brad's like, "What about Ice Cream Misery, guys?"
Brad's there in the corner, like dun 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 dun.
He just always has it ready
like,
to
not,
go.
with his headphones on, not listening to anything. Or did Brad ever fuck up the intro to Lies, Greed, Misery? Probably
No.
not. He loved it.
No, he loved that song so much.
That's like the singular, like most proud he's ever been of anything he's done. I
That
think.
and when he's just on the keyboard and waiting for the end, just hitting that one key, he's just fucking loving it.
On Waiting for the End, when Brad was up on the keyboards and Sean would come out with his guitar and be standing there waiting for him, and you'd see like the ever-growing amount of stress on Sean's face that he wasn't going to make it down there in time. There were a couple of shows where he cut it real close on grabbing his guitar.
What songs would you have put on it that didn't make the cut? Assume we had like 3 more songs on this.
Catalyst for sure
Okay.
would be on there.
From the Inside, I think definitely.
From the Inside, deserved a spot.
It's weird because like I guess there's enough Meteora that they can get away with like not including one of them.
See,
I
I would have
guess
cut Somewhere I
From-
Belong from the Inside, like pretty easily.
Lost in the Echo too. I feel like
Oh,
should
yeah.
have been on there. Iridescent
Hmm.
actually. That's a big one. That's
Oh,
not on there.
Iridescent.
Yeah.
You're-
That was
Yeah,
when I.
I'd probably go with Iridescent, Given Up, and Lost in the Echo. Even though I'd like to include something from the Hunting Party just for the sake of it.
Yeah,
I think
none of us said Hunting Party
Final
sucks.
Masquerade should be the
Final
obvious one.
Masquerade.
Final Masquerade deserved.
Yeah.
It should have been there.
When it comes
Final
to the
Masquerade or
Hunting Park,
Guilty
I
all
feel
the
like
same. Either one.
actually, I mean,
Either one.
Rebellion has a good case for it. Not in terms of charting, in just terms of like discography. I feel like
Yeah.
Guilty all the same. They kind of fumbled. I feel like back in the day,
Yeah.
like it could have been a.
Oh, you didn't
bigger
think the
than what it
Project Spark
was.
music video
Yeah.
was proper for that
That
song?
was one of the worst.
Right.
That was terrible.
I also
Like,
think
they kinda
Wastelands would be more than a promo single.
Wasteland, because that was the song they chose as like their set list pick from the album,
Mm.
going like in at least on One More Light.
It's the song
Yeah.
on that record that sounds the most like an old Linkin Park song.
I agree. That's why I was always like surprised why it isn't bigger, because it always reminded me of the first two albums, like the
Yeah.
closest.
It also didn't it have I don't know if it was Medal of Honor, like just
It was
with the US
IAVA. It was some military thing.
Yeah, I feel like that it got a little bit of like a push from that too.
And then Mike throwing the CDs out into the crowd. and
Yeah, that was
rocking
awesome.
Rio.
I was just thinking about that.
I would say Giving Up too, because that like
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
people
true.
views that bridge as one of the most iconic things ever.
There's
Agreed.
definitely a bunch of stuff that like makes sense that it wasn't there, like Goodbye, even Powerless. I don't even know if Powerless was like a Japanese
It
single.
was a Japanese single. No.
I would have gone with either Shadow of the Day because it was a big single, or Given Up. I don't think I'd put both of them on there.
I'd put Shadow of the Day just because like Given Up, Shadow of the Day I hear out in places. Like I'll just be like walking around and I'll be like, oh shit, that's. The crazy part is my mall that I work at has Shadow of the Day in like just the general playlist, but like it has the transition to what I've done too.
Which version of Shadow of the Day is it? Which version is it?
I actually have to check. I have to double check.
I
have to
I
listen
literally hear
carefully.
Shadow of the Day in Walmart.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
I
like,
heard it every time I went to
Yeah.
Walmart for like a good 2 or 3 years in like the mid 2010s. It was bizarre. That said, I would still probably put Given Up on it over Shadow of the Day. I would say Given Up over Shadow of the Day just because I think that there's representation for their kind of softer side already on there. I don't think there's as much for something as heavy as Given Up besides like QWERTY and One Step Closer, stuff like that. But like Given Up's a different kind of heavy.
You can't really tell if they want like what they wanted to go for more here. Like obviously like they chose the top 16 singles, but also like they
Can we take a second to acknowledge Mike just throwing Brad under the bus?
Under the bus.
Yes.
yeah, any
Ask
problems
Brad
with
why
this,
certain
address
songs aren't
Brad
on. I voted
Wilson.
for more songs.
We got a lot to talk about on this podcast. I think we've been talking for like an hour now. Any final thoughts on Friendly Fire Papercuts? What did everyone, if anyone bought merch or a bundle, what did you guys get?
I bought the Hunting Party vinyl, completely unrelated. The paper
And
cuts.
I wanted to buy like the Mike's art thing, the what's it called, the limited edition one that he just put out.
Wrap, whatever they call those.
Oh, me too.
Oh, man.
If you go on Amazon right now, it's like $140 if you want to get it for like half off almost.
You hear that? We got you covered on the LPLive podcast. Yeah, exactly.
Put
better than
LPLive
honey.
discount code.
Yeah, use code Glass Castles at checkout.
Don't actually do that. It won't work, I swear.
Can we get an Amazon affiliate
Oh,
link for the
that-
Meteor 20 bundle?
I got the Meteor 20 like hoodie thing they did as for the Zoomies, like the Brooklyn projects. It was very
Yeah. I remember that.
overpriced, but it was
Yeah.
sick.
I got the Zoetrope vinyl.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got that
Also-
too.
That's
I'm
cool one.
considering buying the white hoodie. Like I said before, just I like how the logo is on it. It's better than just their usual. Here's the album cover square on a black hoodie.
Honestly, I
fun.
didn't look at the merch. I thought that's what it was. So if they actually improve that, then that's good. That's good to hear.
It has like the on the album cover it has the whole like ad that's like singles
Yeah.
collection. QWERTY. It has that on the back
Okay.
instead of like the weird green logo.
Oh, there's also the cassette one.
There is
That's
the
actually
cassette. We didn't
green.
talk about
The right color.
Yeah.
The only
Yeah,
green.
that's on brand being
Only the
They used
cassette
up all the
and the
green
Friendly
dye.
Fire CD single.
Yeah.
That's true. I actually did consider. I kind of. If it was a vinyl, I think I would have bought it. The Friendly Fire thing.
Give me a vinyl with just Friendly Fire and QWERTY on it.
That would be a crazy single. Friendly Fire A side.
QWERTY
QWERTY
B-side.
B side.
Oh, QWERTY being on the release, do you think it actually will end up being a single? Because it's supposed to be greatest singles. And
Maybe. I
it's
mean,
the
they
only
have
one that's not yet.
they have a whole month until it comes out yet. I'd be surprised if they didn't like put it out as some kind of promo thing at least leading up to it.
I expect Friendly Fire to be kind of the main song from this, but like it might get like a Fighting Myself type treatment where it gets like a little push on radio
Yeah.
and stuff.
I feel like
Do you
two singles
think-
from a greatest hits is kind of unusual. So I don't know.
That's-
Do you think we have any chance that this is the live version in the studio form?
Absolutely not.
I see
Sadly
a lot
not.
of people like coping that like, oh, they said they went back and worked on Friendly Fire a little bit. Maybe they'll fix QWERTY. Like, bro,
I hope.
they announced it. Their announcement of it was Johan took a picture of his keyboard. I don't
Yeah,
think they cared about.
That's going to be
Yeah.
the single cover. It's just that
Putting any-
picture of Johan's keyboard.
That would be so fun. Any other final thoughts we got, guys?
So y'all were talking about earlier about like if they would revisit and do more like 20th anniversary. The big if, but if like they were to continue, I would definitely say no. And after 1,000 Suns, because if they start putting out new music again, people aren't really gonna, after 1,000 Suns at least, they aren't really gonna like care enough, I don't think, to like buy like a box set of Living Things or something for like $200. I just wanted to make that. I don't know.
I mean, here we are 7 years later, still buying box sets after they haven't really done anything.
Well, that's
Who
true
knows
too.
what happens in 20 years? We'll still be around. They got at least five suckers on their list.
Living Things at least has Burn It Down and Castle of Glass to kind of prop it up, so that might push
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
people.
I think the hunting party, that's when they might cut it.
Hunting Party they
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
and
because
then
I
they
feel like
see
there's
that.
a
then they
lot of-
still do One More Light though.
Guess who's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
vote again?
They just skip hunting party
But they
again.
did-
One
they
More
do One More
Light
Light.
is like their golden child. I
They
feel like
yeah.
that's like the kid they're most proud of.
And what? They should be.
But we'll get that. We should get to that in another episode.
That's true.
So thank you for joining us on this little discussion we've had. The very first pilot episode of the LPLive podcast. My name's been Dylan, Rogue Soul. We got Sirio Drew. We got Glass Castles. Got A-Stat. We got Ben. It's been a pleasure being here with you all. If you have any topics you'd like to hear us discuss on other episodes, let us know in the comments of whatever you've decided to put this on. Yeah, thanks for being here, gentlemen. Thanks for the convo. Hopefully
Thank you.
we'll have another one of these soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Continued.